did you think of your episode? Do you feel like you were portrayed accurately?
That's a tough question to go and to start with. Not to be honest, if I saw the episode the first time, I missed a lot because if you have 11 days of shooting, from the morning until the evening, you do so many things where the camera is with you, and at least if you then see the episode, there's a lot of things cut it out. But the main thing, the guideline you can see is that Abigail Fuller, the director, saw me as a chef who has a lot of tension, power, straight going way, seen targets, tried to getting that targets in time, and that's absolutely me. I was missing a bit the charming side I have.
That's very fair. One of the first things you mention about yourself is that you have a bit of an egocentric attitude. Do you feel, though, that that is perhaps what has gotten you this far?
You know, after that very bad childhood was being abused and being in the gang, it was like that I was building a wall around me to protect myself, to protect my soul. And later on, that gives me the ability to create my own universe, what means to be egocentric. I'm absolutely the center point of my life, and I'm controlling my entire life. And that had nothing to do with being arrogant or things like that. It's just that I'm so focused. Since I started cooking in the age of 17 and I'm now 42, since 25 years, I was just focused to get better and better with each day, to get successful. And without being focused on absolutely just that, it wasn't impossible. I didn't went to cinema for 20 years. I don't know how it is to meet friends in the evening. I went in my entire life like 4 or 5 times in a club. I don't go out. I just drink alcohol 1 day per week. I don't smoke. I don't do coffee. I try to live as good as I can. So the energy I need to live is deep fried Asian food. That's the reason of my shape. But this is what I'm really addicted to, what I love, and where my passion is, outside of being in the kitchen and being a chef.
So I know that visiting Asia for the first time was a huge influence for you. Do you recommend that everyone travel like that?
I think everything in my life and my story is very subjective, and I just can recommend people to go to Asia because the idea they had about food and going out and having dining is it's a social component. You don't walk out like a couple if it's not Valentine's Day or a special occasion. You go on a table of 6, 8, 10. Everyone is ordering his most famous dish and is share with the others and telling the story why he loved that. You know, and I grew up with the French idea of fine dining, so sitting as a couple, shut the fuck up, very stiffy atmosphere, and someone came tell you what to drink, what to eat. And then I came in a hawker store in Singapore, and everything was sharing, it was open, it was very social, and I felt totally in love. And especially about Asian food, for me, it's the flavors. I love the flavors. And my most famous one is Thailand, because in Thailand, you have the mix of ripe fruits, so the sweetness is natural. They're using citrus fruits, so you have acidity, and at least the spiciness. So with nearly every dish, you have a roller coaster drive of flavors. And I'm a flavor chef, you know, I'm not about techniques. I'm not the one who's inventing new things. I'm just about flavors. If you saw my dishes, they look very, very delicate, feminine, fine, but it has bold flavors. It's really ass-kicking.
And what's the dish you're most proud of?
it's the reinterpretation of contemporary Cantonese classic. The dish is originally called Wasabi Prawns, and we serve it as wasabi langoustine. So I started to substitute the prawn, the cheap prawn, to the very juicy and great langoustine. We made the dish more crispier. We made, instead of fresh fruits, a Thai vinaigrette. So we really make it everything in one single dish. You have different textures. It is cold, it is hot, it is crispy, it is crunchy, it is creamy, it is sweet, spicy, herby. Everything is in. And it is overpowering your palate. It's blowing you away.
After you had the first Michelin star at your restaurant, what compelled you to change things around? Why not stick with something that was obviously working?
Because, after we gained the first star, I was sure that we get them for a kind of cooking which was not properly great. I was still on the way to raise up, but I was sure there was not a clear line. And it's still nowadays, I'm thinking at the moment what I have to change to stay on that level I get now. And that's tough, and I have to change things, because if not, it get bored even for the staff who's working with me. I'm pain in the ass, be sure, with everything I do.
But that's good that you have this really unshaken sense of confidence. Where do you get that?
Drugs. No, no. The self-confidence, it was a long way for me to go. And what I did over more than 2 decades is that I reflect myself with yoga, with Buddhism, I try so many ways to clarify for myself, who am I, what am I. And for me, it's more about I had the chance to create myself than to be just what I am because it's given by God or whomever. So I was sure in the age of 17, I step now out in the world, and it's up to me how I handle it every day, how I create myself. And this is what I'm still doing.
So what's next for you after this episode? Are you going to be doing...
I must say that 2016, 2017 is absolutely the peak of my life. I became part of the 50 best restaurants list in the world. So means restaurant, instead of being packed for 2 weeks, it's now 3 to 4 months in advance. I get Netflix where nearly every chef I know was texting me and saying, what the fuck, how you get that? Make me the connection, we want to go there. So what can be next? It can be a 3rd Michelin star, but I know I will never get it because they mention I have to cook more harmony side. I think the future in the next weeks for me is to come down, to look after, to have a consistent performance in the restaurant, and that no one around me thinks that we're really the greatest, because this is something which really can bring you down very, very, very fast. So for me, it's like, be self-confident, but reflect yourself every day and try to do better.